Welcome back to the channel, The Real Ish. Today I have a pretty interesting video. We're gonna be talking about Candyman versus Jimmy Bones. Okay, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get into this video. Alright, so we all know who Candyman is. I've done plenty of videos on the channel regarding Candyman. So at this point, I think we all know who Candyman is. You know, his deal, his backstory. Jimmy Bones, I've mentioned Bones recently in a video on the channel. If you don't know, Bones is a 2001 film. Jimmy Bones is the antagonist of the film. He is a vengeful spirit, a gangster. He was killed by people that he thought he could trust in the film, and he comes back and gets them. You know, I wouldn't say exactly the same story as Candyman. Candyman was killed for falling in love with a woman of another race, and he was killed for it. Put honey all over him, bees stung him to death, and that's his story. Basically why Candyman was killed. They are similar because Candyman is too a vengeful spirit. You know, he had the racial injustice going on and everything like that. Jimmy Bones had the injustice basically of being killed by people he trusted, and his lady was a part of it. You know, he came back and killed everybody. So we're gonna go into it, and when I say versus, I mean everything. We're gonna do the similarities, differences, who would win in a battle, I guess. You know, when I say versus, I mean just overall, alright? And basically, we're gonna go, and it boils down to who we think is the better villain. Alright, so jumping right in. Usually I type stuff in on Google, but it's not much on this one per se, so I'm gonna jump right into Reddit. Something on Reddit from a couple years ago. Jimmy Bones versus Candyman. The fight takes place in New Orleans and the Hood. Who would win a fight? Somebody said Jimmy Bones, because he's got the power of the entire underworld at his side. Candyman wasn't making hell portals. He had to rely on just his power. Alright, like I stated, if in case you're not too sure about Jimmy Bones, he was betrayed and brutally murdered by a corrupt cop and a drug pusher. And then they forced his associates, Jeremiah, to take, turn stabbing him, and his woman was one of them. So that's what happened with him. Alright, so someone did something 3 months ago on Facebook. They said, does Jimmy Bones clear Candyman? Go to some of the comments real quick, just to get an idea of what other people think. Somebody said both are ghosts. It's going to be hard to vanquish each other. Someone said Candyman. Somebody says definitely a draw. Somebody said Bones. Candyman will win. If there's an advantage, Candyman will have to have it. Guess from being dead longer, maybe knows more stuff about the other side. It says Candyman, very little difficulty. Jimmy Bones doesn't have half the supernatural abilities that Candyman has. Somebody said, what can Candyman do that Bones can't? Because from what I can tell, Bones has way more abilities than Candyman. Somebody said they possess the same abilities. That's why this post was made, but Candyman can't be killed. You can also say he was killed where they shattered the mirror, but constantly comes back. He always resurrects. In my opinion, Candyman has shown more abilities than Bones. I think being dead longer may play a part in overall power too. I never thought about that. I never thought about being dead longer would have anything to do with it. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's what people were saying on Facebook. So it's kind of hard because you don't have so much stuff on it. But okay, so we're gonna get into the similarities. All right, they both were human. They both were brutally murdered and came back as vengeful spirits, as I mentioned in the beginning. They have an interest for the main characters of their movies. Patrick, the main character of Bones, is the son of one of the men who betrayed and killed Jimmy Bones. Helen, remind Candyman of his wife. Both died at the end, but not really, in a fire. Both were confronted against a family member. Jimmy Bones, he was confronted by his daughter, played by Bianca Lawson in that movie. And then Candyman is a descendant. So he was confronted by his descendant, a relative of his. Both represent the struggle of African Americans. I think they do have a lot of things in common, Okay, so here are Jimmy Bones' abilities. It says he has superhuman strength, near immortality, and shape-shifting, pulling his own head and limbs. He's a ghost seeking revenge on those who betrayed him, and supernatural vengeance, enhanced strength and durability, can withstand extreme injuries and mutilations, shape-shifting and body manipulation, can detach and reattach his own head and limbs. In the movie, I think he turned into a dog or something like that, or the dog turned into him. So, you know, that's what they mean by that. So those are some of Jimmy Bones' abilities. Well, let's see some of Candyman's abilities. I don't know if he has way more, but we're going to find out. Alright, so Candyman's abilities center around his nature as a vengeful spirit, including immortality, superhuman strength. So they both have that in common. They both have immortality and superhuman strength. It says Candyman has rapid regeneration and control over bees, which he can summon to attack victims from his body. He also possesses teleportation, levitation, flight, invisibility, phasing through walls, and psychic manipulation like hypnosis and making victims hallucinate, all tied to the legend and mirrors that summon him, allowing him to manifest from rumors and belief. It's very interesting. It says he can float, fly, rise from surfaces like water. He becomes unseen by the naked eye. He has manipulation and hypnosis. Well, Jimmy Bones, on the other hand, doesn't have as much. That's all he has. So I'm not saying that I don't believe that Jimmy Bones is strong or can keep up, but I don't know. And when you look at all of Candyman's abilities, it makes it sound like he is the one that would win overall. But then if you type in who would win between the two, listen to this. It says, in a fight between Candyman and Jimmy Bones, many fans lean towards Jimmy Bones. Due to his potentially broader reality-bending powers, ability to manipulate the underworld, and seemingly harder to kill nature, although Candyman's immense fear-based power and immortality makes him a formidable opponent, leading to debate over who would truly win. Bones can manifest hellish elements, making him a strong contender, but Candyman's sheer terror-inducing presence and resilience keep the matchup very close. So the arguments for Jimmy Bones simply says the wider powers. They believe that he has more diverse abilities, including direct reality manipulation, like making objects bleed, yes. Summoning forces from the underworld, yes. Harder to kill. It says Bones' weaknesses, like needing his scarf burned, might be more specific than Candyman's mirror portrait vulnerabilities. The underworld connection, his power comes from a pact, giving him access to hellish forces. And Candyman's arguments are that he feeds and embodies on fear. He comes when you call him. He knows you're afraid. He goes off of that. If you destroy the mirror, you destroy him. It says he's been around for centuries, Candyman, constantly resurrecting, suggesting a deep, almost endless power source. And then he's summoned through belief in mirrors, a potent form of invocation. It says it's a very close call, often ending in a stalemate in discussions, but Jimmy Bones often gets the slight edge in these fan debates because his powers seem more versatile and less tied to a single object, like the mirror for Candyman, giving him more avenues to attack and defend. Alright, so my opinion, I completely agree with what they are saying. They both have things going on. They both have their own abilities, capabilities, and I think it's going to be a hard thing to say. I think if Candyman were more so in the reality world, Jimmy Bones would have the upper hand. If Bones was more in the world of Candyman, Candyman would win. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I love both characters, and I think Bones is a very underrated horror movie. I've said it in one of my previous videos. I love Jimmy Bones' character. He's just he's like cool. You know, he got that old school swag. You know, he's played by Snoop, so obviously he's gonna have those things, but I mean, his character is so smooth, like, and he comes in and kills. I mean, I like Bones. I like Jimmy Bones. I like the movie. I love Candyman. It's a classic. Candyman is a classic himself. Candyman is just, he literally scared me, you know, back then. But Yeah, the similarities of these people, they were both killed unfairly. They were both done unfairly, some injustice, and both are supernatural slasher villains. Both are, in a way, represent African Americans. You know, so a lot of people, surprisingly, are saying Bones. They think Jimmy Bones would win, but some people are 50-50. But, yeah, I think that's it for this. I think I touched on everything that I wanted to with this one. Let me know if you think Candyman or Jimmy Bones would win in a battle. Win in general. It doesn't even have to be a battle. It's just, who do you think is better overall after seeing Candyman and seeing Bones? Like, which one, you know? Two great movies, two great villains. So I just, you know, and it's I don't know, when I was younger, Candyman used to scare me because of the whole Candyman say his name and he appears, and you know what happened to him. And Bones, it's like, if you've never seen Bones, I think the kids, they go in the house where his body was and stuff, and it's just the way he comes back together. They have his skeleton down there, and then something happens, and I can't remember exactly. If I find pictures of it, I'll put it in here, but it's like his flesh and everything just comes back on his bones and his meat and everything, and he takes a breath and he comes up, and you know, it's good. I like it. So anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think. Bones, Jimmy Bones or Candyman? Candyman, Jimmy Bones, which one? And I hope you like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and comment your thoughts below. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. God bless.